industry. Corn and soybeans are at pretty much all-time lows when you take into consideration inflation. I think we were looking at something, and it hasn't been this low for about 10 years or so, and inflation is up. So that makes it significantly lower than it is as far as dollars per bushel or whatever. So with this perfect storm of traditional crops being at a pretty low point, being able to show that you have demand and there is demand, and we're able to contract grow or have farmers grow on a contract where they have guarantees. What do you think we need to do in order to push this over the ledge, and what sort of sales techniques or initiatives do you guys have in play to take advantage of the current market and to showcase to farmers that this is a viable crop to grow and this is a secure way to move forward and kind of push them out of their traditional ways? Keith, why don't we start with you?
I think carbon credits are coming into this space, and I think that's what's going to get the farmers to the help they need, because the carbon credits will give them the money just for growing and creating less carbon in this world. And I think that's the technique that we're going to need to. We need to reward them for healing the planet by growing this plant.
Yes.
And carbon credits, I think, are the way to it.
And Keith, we'd love to, I want to share something from one of the last meetings that we had, our last Farmer Informational Series. We had a group on that talked a lot about, not only is there the carbon credit that can then be sold, but there's also the information and the data that is available once you gather that can be sold to big corporations, which is actually worth more than the physical credit alone. So 2 ways to incentivize. I love that. How about you?
And it needs to go more toward food. I think we need to be eating this plant. It's the amino acids and proteins in this and you can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody, how about you? What's your take on your sales position, how you're incentivizing farmers or getting them to really grasp this is a safer option than the traditional crop that you're guaranteed to lose money on? Mm-hmm. So how are you jumping into this?
Yeah, no, I definitely think the carbon economy is something I've been leaning heavily into lately. But like you said, we are in a perfect storm where our economy is also stretched thin, our supply chains are overextended, and in the building industry, for example, cost of building is higher than ever right now. And so whereas 3 years ago, I was trying to pitch this building material that was 30 or 40% more expensive, now it's starting to become a lot more cost competitive. And then the performance of the building material is also highly incentivized by government initiatives. So decarbonizing energy efficiency, healthiness of homes. So there's definitely a lot of momentum coming on the marketable side. And I think that's naturally going to start to pull more farmers. So I guess like my strategy is like, if I can do my job well and sell a bunch of houses or do a lot of developments that are for low-income families or people with health issues, then I think it's going to be a natural thing, because the thing that farmers love to hear is that they're supporting their small town, they're supporting the local economy, and the work that they're doing, they can see directly in front of them with the houses that are being built around the corner, you know? And so I think that's a big incentive for the hemp industry.
Awesome.
And well, let's just learn our lessons from 2019 and 20 with the CBD market is there was no place to take it. Mm-hmm. You know, they grow it, and they could grow a traditional crop. You have your grain elevators down the road that you take it to. They weigh you in and they write you a check, do what they want. The easy button, as I call it. Mm-hmm. You know, the more we can create easy buttons for the hemp industry, the more we'll get growers. And what we're really encouraging any of the people that are going to be growing this year to do is to really take an interest in some segment of that plant. Like, don't just grow it and sell the bale and don't care what goes, where is it going to, and what maybe, you know, maybe you're a horse farmer and you're spending a lot of money on bedding for your horses. Well, why not take an interest in that and educate the other farms, the other horse farms in the area? Then you start building a network just the same way that we did with white labeling the cannabinoids over the years is, okay, we'll take an interest in downstream in that product, not just selling a bale or selling a super sack of grain but maybe you want to find a healthier alternative to some of the food that you eat, and you start going to Whole Foods and buying hemp hearts, and then starting learning that process, and then maybe next year you put in a processing facility or a dehuller or something like that. So there's the more that we can get interest from the local farmer communities, and it just takes a couple of these influencers in these communities to do that and show them like, hey, I grew this stuff, and then it turned into this hemp hearts or this hemp bedding. Then you start to see the wheels turning, even in the older generation farmers.
How about the farmer that wants to push the easy button? Because I would say that's 95% of farmers, and I know that's a big piece of your business model. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah. So we have a new property that we've acquired just down the street from here, and it's called the name of the property before we even purchased it was called Silver Spur Ranch. There's about 50 horses currently boarded there. So we obviously have taken an interest in seeing how that hemp bedding compares against some traditional wood shavings. But really the magic of this place and why we went through with purchases, really that we have now that place where we have some buildings. We'll have, it'll be served as an aggregation point for fiber and grain particularly, and cannabinoid hemp to a degree, but mostly we're going to be focused on the industrial varieties. So creating that Midwest, Northern Illinois point where farmers within, say, a 200 to 250 mile radius can come and just deliver the hemp is really what we aim to do.
Yep. Collect their check and be on their way.